Hello, Professor Race here. Let's talk about subject-verb agreement. Subject-verb agreement is something we mostly talk about with present tense verbs. Remember, with present tense verbs, the action, of course, takes place in the present. In English, sometimes present tense verbs end in S, such as these two examples. The student writes, the athlete runs. Sometimes present tense verbs do not end in S, such as the students write or the athletes run. This seems pretty straightforward, and it is. The rule of subject-verb agreement explains when to use the S ending. So subject-verb agreement means a subject is matched with the correct present tense verb, and that's what we mean when we say the subject and the verb agree. So the student writes, student is matched with the verb writes that ends with S, but if our subject is students, then we match it with the verb write in the present tense that does not have the S ending. So, when should you use a verb with an S and when should you not? So usually your ear can tell you what sounds right, but not always. So we're going to take a closer look at the rule. And strangely enough, we're going to start by looking at a pronoun chart because that really is the basis for understanding correct subject-verb agreement. So here's a pronoun chart here. We've got a singular column, a plural column, and we have first person, second person, and third person. So we have our first person singular pronoun I. We have our first person plural pronoun we. Second person is you for singular and plural. And then we have third person, he, she, and it for singular, and third person plural pronoun is they. These are all of the pronouns that can be used as subjects. So my first question is, what are the third person singular pronouns? Well, let's look at that square. Here they are. He, she, and it. We call these the third person singular pronouns, and they are special. Let's see why they are special. Look, when we add the verb run to each of these subjects, look what we get. We have I run, we run, you run, they run. But if we look into the third person singular group, look what happens to our verb. He runs, she runs, it runs. Interesting. The only group of subject pronouns that is matched with a present tense verb that ends with S, runs, is our group of third person singular pronouns. I told you, they are special. And if we can understand this, we've got subject-verb agreement. So, just a review, which pronouns always take a present tense verb that ends in S? Those three special pronouns, he, she, and it. And which pronouns always take a present tense verb that does not end in S? The other four, I, we, you, and they. If we can get that down, we can get subject-verb agreement. So we've learned that he, she, and it, if used as the subject, are special because we add an S or an ES to their present tense verb. So if my subject is he or the equivalent, Mike, she or Ella, or it or Texas, then I'm going to have an S or an ES on the end of my present tense verb. Take a look at this example. Mr. Roy believes in ghosts. Of course, that sounds right, and it is, but we can double check it by substituting the pronoun he for Mr. Roy. We know that he is one of those special subjects. It always takes a verb that ends with S. The museum displays exhibits. Museum is a singular subject, and we can substitute the pronoun it for it. It is one of our special pronoun subjects that takes a verb that ends with S, so we know that displays is correct. Now, of course, these two sentences sound right to us because we're accustomed to hearing correct subject-verb agreement in spoken language. But it's always great to substitute a pronoun for the subject just to double-check yourself. Let's take a look at the other four pronouns, I, you, we, and they. If we use one of them as the subject of our sentence, or maybe the equivalent of they or we, such as the Smiths they, the books, they, Jay and I, we. Remember, we do not add the S ending to the verb. We want pizza for supper. So we, of course, doesn't take an S on its verb. Most children enjoy watching cartoons. Let's substitute the pronoun they, double check it. No S on that verb. We know it's correct. So basically, if you are having trouble hearing the correct present tense verb, always substitute a pronoun for your subject and then choose a verb. And trust me, it will help you every time. So here's an example. Kind of a tricky sentence. The tribe's culture dates back to before the pyramids, or the tribe's culture date back to before the pyramids were built. A little bit tricky to just hear whether we need an S or no S on the end of our verb. So all we have to do is identify the subject and then substitute a pronoun for it. So what's the subject? Well, it's culture. And we can substitute the pronoun it for culture. So let's try that as our subject. It dates. Yeah, that's the correct verb. We know that it is always matched with a present tense verb that ends with S. And so we have chosen the correct verb ending. And one more reminder, which three subjects are the special ones, because they always take present tense verbs that end in S. He, she, and it. Great. So you're basically already an expert on subject-verb agreement. Your ear can usually tell whether or not a verb sounds right, but like this example, they act crazy all the time. I mean, that definitely would sound wrong to us. We know that it should be act crazy. But there are